Plus, we welcome you back this weekend to Waco, Texas. Time to dive back into Big 12 softball. As Lincoln Rose, along with Kelly LeVesque and Kelly, this week the Cyclones of Iowa State come to town to face Glenn Moore's Baylor Bears. Obviously, every coach right about now is looking at the resume, wondering what they still need to do to impress the committee. Earlier this week, Glenn Moore mentioned he is confident but not yet comfortable about knowing his team's done enough for the postseason. This week can certainly help.
Yeah, absolutely. Must-win games for both of these teams. I mean, this is do or die time. This is the part that you train for. It's all the preseason. This is all the Big 12. This is what it's made for. You come down to the last big homestand, and they got to win.
Well, both these coaches know exactly what they have when it comes to setting the table atop their lineup. It's what happens after that. But when you talk about these two programs, of course, for Iowa State, you talk about Carly Spellhog and what she's been able to do. I don't know if you could ask for much more production from her in that top of the order.
Absolutely. Leading her team with a .338 batting average. She's started every single game in that leadoff position. Just phenomenal on the base path. Just great speed that you're going to see.
And, of course, one of the newcomers for Baylor, a freshman playing like anything but a freshman in Mackenzie Wilson, atop that lineup and anchoring out there in center field for Baylor.
Yeah, she's been a transfer student for this Baylor team and just phenomenal. I mean, she's been a standout. Her numbers just jump off the page when it comes to stolen bases, hits, on-base percentage, and what she does as far as producing for this Baylor team.
Speaking of newcomers, Dari Orm transfers in this year, and again, Glenn Moore, who has been here all of 22 seasons, says she is the hardest thrower we've ever had at Baylor, and that is saying something when you consider all the arms that have been in that circle.
I believe it. You're going to see her top out at 70, maybe 75 tonight. Consistently, she throws a great down ball, and she's just so efficient and hits her spots.
So Orm does get the start in the circle, as has typically been the case here in Big 12 on Fridays. And as we mentioned, as advertised, it is Carly Spellhog who has been atop this lineup each and every game this year for Jamie Pinkerton. So Spellhog, Mikayla Ramos, and Angelina Allen, your top third of the order for Iowa State. But for the first time this year, Glenn Moore will have the same lineup in terms of batting order from a prior game. Baylor coming off a convincing midweek matchup against Stephen F. Austin. Meanwhile, Iowa State, a really big non-conference matchup for that Cy-Hawk Series trophy. Iowa State held on late against Iowa there in Ames. And as a result, they have locked up that rivalry for the year. First time in a couple years they've been able to play them on the softball diamond, especially since Iowa and the Big Ten were playing a Big Ten only schedule a year ago.
Yeah, those midweek games really make a difference when it comes to this point in the season. I mean, you really kind of, you can't overlook them and just focus on conference. You really got to be able to compete every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
The 1-2 off the mark as our home plate umpire tonight, Terry Holt, joined by Brandon Bloom and Brian Crochet out there in the field. Yeah, Baylor, you talk about their 1-2 punch in the circle with Dari Orm, typically your Friday starter. Aaliyah Binford, throughout her career, has been a very capable both reliever as well as starter, and Orm already gets things started with a strikeout. Nice way to begin this homestand here in Waco.
That's just a big strikeout, because we've seen from Carly Spellhog, she's a hard one to strike out. She puts big numbers up from that leadoff position, and she plays that position really well. And so to see a strikeout this early in the game, you can really see that Dari Orm she's on her game right now.
Well, that's critical, keeping Spellhog off the base paths. She already has 42 career stolen bases. We'll have more on that a little bit later on in the broadcast if she gets on the base paths. But here's Michaela Ramos, the DP. Ramos, last year's second team All Big 12. On the preseason Big 12 honoree list this year, one of 3 backstops recognized before the start of the campaign, as this ball will get down foul. Over there at first base for Baylor. Again, that's Emily Hott. Baylor spent most of non-conference and early Big 12 action without Emily. They expected that she'd plug right back in at second base, but instead has found herself at home at first.
That's one of the things we've seen consistently throughout the years with this Baylor team is they have a very fluid, very flexible team. And no one person is set in one position, I guess, unless you're a pitcher, possibly a catcher, but.
Well, unless you're a pitcher named Binford, who's right now out there in shortstop, but could easily step into the circle if called upon here tonight.
Just really goes to show you what type of competitors you have here. You know, you step up and you're like, okay, I'm playing second base, and she did a great job at second base, but she gets pulled out as she gets injured, and Casey West steps in. Well, Casey West starts producing, and hey, you know what? I've earned a position here too, and so you fight for a place on the field, fight to be one of the top 9.
Right now for the Cyclones, it's Mikayla Ramos battling at the plate. A 3-1 count to her name with 1 out, nobody on in front of her. As here comes the 5th offering from Dari Orm. And the walk following the strikeout. So 1 on, 1 out for Iowa State. Well, of course, Orm not the only individual transferring in this year from Fresno State, as Mackenzie Wilson also coming over, the Long Beach native, and it was actually Mackenzie who was on the radar of the Baylor coaching staff. They had another pitcher in mind. It fell through, but Dari Orm kind of fell into their lap, and I would say that's some pretty good fortune for Baylor.
Absolutely. When you look at just the impact that these 2 players have made for this Baylor team throughout the whole season, it's remarkable. You have to think, what does this team look like without those 2? And it might be something you don't want to think about, especially if you're Coach Moore.
That one unable to be secured in the glove by LaValle, and that will allow Ramos, who had the 1-out walk, to take second base now. So she's in scoring position for Angelina Allen. Allen, freshman out of Moreno Valley, California, had a solo home run to make it 4-2 the other night against Iowa in the bottom of the 3rd. That was right after Ramos was trying to stretch a single to a double, and video review ruled her out at second. Otherwise, Allen would have picked up an extra RBI on that long ball. Iowa State got an insurance run late and were able to just hang on as the Hawkeyes had potential winning run on the base paths in that 7th inning before Iowa State was able to slam the door shut. That is a fair ball. No force to be had over there at third. Instead, the long throw over, and that's nicely done by Sydney Collazos. Collazos, who also spends a lot of time behind the plate. LaValle, your starting catcher tonight. You mentioned a lot of movable pieces for Glenn Moore.
He definitely likes not your standard chess pieces, that's for sure.
So here's Malaysia Ochoa. Cleanup hitter for the Cyclones, trying to capitalize with Ramos there in scoring position, but with 2 away. Ochoa last year, all Big 12 freshman team. Sophomore out of Chino, California. Made every start this year out there in right field. Trying to extend the inning here against Dari Orm. Dari struck out Spellhog. Ramos, again, there on second base, walked. Ground out later, and there's 2 outs here for Ochoa. Trying to find a way to bring Ramos home and extend this inning. With 2 outs and 1 on, here's the 0-2 from Orm. Back to Dari, and that'll do it. Cyclones get a runner on with a free pass, but they will leave that runner stranded in scoring position. The Baylor Bears will head to the plate for the first time to kick off the weekend here against Iowa State. They'll have Wilson, Hott, and Binford, the minimum due up here in Waco. was unable to strike in the top half of the first inning. Baylor with an opportunity to give Dari Orm a lead the next time she steps into the circle. As for the Cyclones, it's Saya Swain, the sophomore out of Paris, Texas. Back inside the Lone Star State tonight. And she faces the Baylor Bears, beginning first with Mackenzie Wilson. Wilson, the, again, sophomore transfer out of Fresno State from Long Beach. 5 triples this year, leading Big 12. Right back at Swain, and there will be concern for her. That one, a line drive into the chest, and you hope she's able to continue. It'll be an infield base hit for Wilson.
You know that's gotta hurt. Kind of takes your breath away.
You'll get another look here in a moment. Again, your starting pitcher, Saya Swain, the sophomore. And there's just no time to get out of the way of that one.
Well, you never want to see her get hurt, but thank goodness that was 6 inches lower than it hit where it hit. You'd hate to see that go right back at her face. See a lot of those pitchers start to wear those masks nowadays because of that.
Saya's had some impressive outings this year. She's one of just 11 pitchers in the nation who on multiple occasions this year has struck out 16 batters or more in a game. That includes an Iowa State program record 17 strikeouts against Northern Iowa. She's averaging 9.5 strikeout victims per 7 innings, and you're happy to see that smile back on her face after, again, a scary moment.
It's tough, jumping right back in.
Yeah, you mentioned we see a lot of pitchers and third basemen opting to wear masks for those obvious reasons. That circle is so close to the plate. And she says she can go. Jamie Pinkerton will leave her in. And again, that means Emily Hott's going to come up with a runner on first after Wilson's single. Nobody out. Plate umpire Terry Holt, happy to give her a little extra time.
Yeah, you definitely need to get back in there, and you kind of wonder what that does to you mentally too, especially as you get these Baylor hitters just back up there, and it's always kind of in the back of your mind, it could happen again.
So again, here's the sophomore Emily Hott, who has seen time at both positions on the right side of the infield this year. Got injured on that trip in Hawaii. And we finally saw her working her way back in the lineup in that series against Oklahoma State. That was the second weekend of Big 12 play. Remember, Baylor played Oklahoma the first weekend and then took on those Cowgirls in week 2. That was a 1-2 punch that they just had to get through. Meanwhile, that first weekend, certain group of Cyclones were down in Austin, Texas, and almost took the first 2 games, only to see Texas get walk-off comeback victories. And as for those Cowgirls, they only have 1 loss this year, and it came against this Iowa State program. So Iowa State could easily this year be 3-3 against the 2 orange-clad teams in the Big 12. So Baylor knows that even though Iowa State comes in at 2-10 in Big 12, this is not going to be an easy weekend. And never an easy out there on the base paths, but a great throw on the money from Fuentes. Erases Wilson.
And that's something you don't see very often from Mackenzie Wilson right there.
She was 24 of 29 this year in the stolen base department before that one. And Glenn Moore, I believe, has asked for video review. You'll get a preview of what our umpires will see. So I think it's clear Wilson got there first, maybe not on the bag, but having to go around that tag may have cost her the actual chance to secure that bag for the stolen base.
Yeah, where the tag is applied definitely is important right here. You can't doubt her speed. She definitely got there in time.
So again, video review is done a little bit differently in different conferences. Some conferences still don't have it. Here in the Big 12, video review is done entirely on site. The umpires involved will be the ones making the decision. Other conferences like the SEC actually have officials back at the conference office in Birmingham who are in charge of all games, and they are simply relaying out or safe to their umpires on site. The NCAA tournament this year for the first time will have video review the entire way. All of that will be from a centralized location out of Philadelphia. So a lot of these umpires, this is a brand new system for them. And so imagine the different regionals on different campuses this year are all going to have some hiccups. Now, by the time you get to Oklahoma City, it should be fairly well tuned. Ruling on the field was that the runner was caught stealing. Coaches do have the ability to challenge, and that is exactly what Glenn Moore has done.
Yes, he has 2 challenges a game. Each coach does, and there are cameras set up around the field that the umpires have access to in a room just off the field that we actually don't see. And you can kind of see, say, Swain here was taking a few pitches, and she is totally allowed to do that. Your defense here could throw the ball around if you need to. That is an option for the defensive teams.
Yeah, otherwise Glenn Moore could just use this to, quote, ice that pitcher out there. That's obviously not his intention here. So we will be waiting for the ruling, just as you are again. Has to be clear and obvious that it was the wrong decision to overturn it. 2 of the 3 possible outcomes here benefit Iowa State, since the initial call was in their favor. If it's confirmed or if it stands, it'll be the first out of the inning. Right now there's a 3-1 count to Emily Hott, and we're about to get the ruling. And the runner is out.
She definitely got the speed with that tag. I think just right on the elbow.
Yep. Nothing more Wilson could have done, but a fantastic throw from Fuentes. So you erase the leadoff hitter who reached on a single. And Emily Hott, 1 pitch later, has a walk, and you would have had Wilson trotting down to second instead. Aaliyah Binford, we mentioned the number 2 pitcher for Baylor. That's been the case much of her career since arriving in Waco. A more than capable defender on the left side of the infield, back at shortstop, where she has spent most of her career now. Comes up with 1 out and 1 on. Third-year sophomore out of New Braunfels, Texas. I think if Glenmore got a stopwatch out, might be the 2nd fastest player on the team.
You think so? Baylor's got a ton of speed. I think of Anna Watson, I think of Taylor Strain. Aaliyah Binford's definitely got some, she has game speed, in-game speed for sure. She doesn't hesitate. She knows the game. She knows when to run. She can get down home to first pretty quick too.
I just like that this sparked a debate. That's all we're really here for. What is not debatable is that it seems like there's been a wind in Central Texas each and every night that we have players suiting up to play softball.
Yep.
Right now that stiff wind is right in the face of Binford.
And the common consensus would be disdain for the wind among Central Texans here.
And we're oriented, I think, just the opposite of baseball. That's probably a wind blowing out towards the Brazos River right now, right across the sidewalk. Payoff pitch right up the middle. And you can understand if Swain was thinking, oh no, not again, but this one gets underneath her. And you've got 2 on with 1 out. Binford with the first base hit of the ball game for Baylor.
You play the what if game too. Is now if you have Mackenzie Wilson already at second base, that hard hit line ground ball up the middle, kind of misplayed in the outfield just a little bit too. Just a great piece of hitting there though. Just short and compact. There's not much to it.
So Emily Hott walked with 1 out. She's on second. Binford behind her at first. Here is the DP Bauer, and a first pitch strike from Swain. Well, Baylor won the series in Big 12 play last year, taking 2 of the 3 games in Ames. But Iowa State won arguably the more important game. That was in Oklahoma City last year. That was the last game for each team before they both made it to the NCAAs.
And that's kind of what both of these teams are fighting for this weekend too. And they know, hey, they're about to have that selection show coming up here in a few weeks, and we want to be listed on that.
For Iowa State, that was their second ever trip to the NCAA tournament, their first since 1988. They went to the Columbia Regional in Missouri. Slow one back to Swain. She can handle that one, no problem. And now all of a sudden she just needs 1 more out to strand a pair of Baylor runners in scoring position.
And she's got a tough road ahead of her now with runners at second and third. And Anna Watson coming up to bat. Her batting average is climbing to 291 as this season goes on.
Anna from just down the road in Hewitt, Texas.
You talk about another great bat and just what she does here. And she's played a little bit of everywhere also. Batted everywhere in the lineup, but really found her home here at this 5-hole.
This one's short into center, but hangs up there long enough for Ramos to squeeze it in. So both teams strand a runner in scoring position. Baylor strands a pair. We are scoreless after 1 at Getterman Stadium. Top half of the second coming up here on Big 12 Now. Stadium, Lincoln Rose, Kelly Levesque with you as, again, Baylor and Iowa State colliding. 3 games over the next 3 days. Dari Orm back in the circle. And boy, has she fit right in here with her new teammates in the green and gold this year.
She really has, and you can tell just the smile on her face and the way she interacts with her teammates around her as she goes in and out of the dugout. And even in that circle, they've got her back. She's full-fledged Baylor Bear now.
So Iowa State stranded Mikayla Ramos last inning on second. Here's Alicia Ranches trying to get the second inning started with a base runner, your shortstop for the Cyclones. Sanchez, the junior out of Hawaii, started her career over there at Campbell as a camel.
And of course you know that, Lincoln.
I don't know that there's another D1 or even a D2 program that are the camels. Sanchez been nice and reliable out there defensively for Coach Jamie Pinkerton. Every single start this year at shortstop. She got the scoring started against Iowa in their midweek matchup this past week with a 2-run double. See what she can do here in her first time up against Dari Orm. The 2-1 to Ranches. Casey West these days, your second baseman. Over to Hott in plenty of time, 1 away.
You know, there was a game not too long ago where she had just moved in. Well, about when Emily Hott was hurt. She was playing some outfield, liked that left field position, and then started learning second base. And you talk about just the fight this team has, and each player, she's like, you know what? Hey, I'm pretty good here. I think I like this position. You can just tell by that ground ball right there how smooth she makes it look.
Yeah, she was drawing some early comparisons from her head coach to Aaliyah Binford in terms of flexibility. She can just come in as a pinch runner, an outfielder, an infielder. And technically, she's one of 5 pitchers available to Baylor as well.
Well, she is quite a pitcher. She has thrown Baylor its only perfect game in the history of Baylor softball. Just impressive anywhere she plays.
Kaylee Pond right now ahead of the count, 2-0 with 1 out, nobody on. On the sophomore, part of the California pipeline into Ames, Iowa. She can slap, drag for a base hit, swing away. And that qualifies as a triple threat, offensively speaking. That win over Iowa was just Iowa State's 8th home game this year. They started the season off 35 straight games away from home. It's a lot of tournaments while you wait for your field to thaw out. And that is nothing new for the Cyclone program, being road warriors.
Yeah, you got to think, I mean, one, you love playing in front of your home stand on your home stadium where you practice all the time. But you got to think these girls are student athletes first. So how much school are you missing traveling from Ames, Iowa for the first 35 games of the year?
Yeah, your academic advisors are putting in some overtime.
You kind of wonder how much COVID plays a part of that too. Like how virtual are some of these classes, and how easily accessible is the curriculum to them as they are traveling.
1 out, nobody on. Payoff pitch coming up from Orm to Pond.
Something you never thought about 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
But again, just 8 home games so far. A couple of those have been Big 12 weekends, so just a couple of midweek matchups. 3 of those games against Oklahoma State, ranked 6th in the nation at the time. They won that Friday against the Cowgirls. Payoff pitch from Orm. And Pond with a selective eye is rewarded. Second walk today for the Cyclones. Each time it has come with 1 out. Led to a runner stranded on second last inning. See if Casey Simpson can help advance Pond. The winner of that midweek matchup against Iowa was going to win the overall Cyhawks series. Again, it went the way of these Cyclones in front of a record 1,450 fans. I think their previous record was about 600 fewer, but they got a lot of support from their fellow student athletes women's basketball program was there. I think the wrestling team was right behind home plate. Great to see that support from the entire athletics department.
You gotta love those rivalry games too.
Especially when they fall your way.
How meaningful. I mean, you come out to fight every game, but you know you kind of fight a little harder when it means that much to you.
A lot of the times the players on the other side were either at your high school or rival high school when you were younger. One out, runner on first, the 0-2.
You would think so, but with 13 of their lineup here coming from California.
You know, I would say something mean about Californians, but I'm mindful that 50% of this broadcast booth is from the Golden State.
This is true. Actually had a teammate of mine in high school, in our travel ball team that played at Iowa State.
That ball just stays playable in foul territory for Taylor Strand to get underneath it for the second out.
Kind of wonder if she opened up that pipeline.
I still haven't been able to think of anything mean to say. Mikayla Ramos out of the 8th spot for Iowa State. Again, your 4th batter this inning. Kaylee Pond had that 1-out walk. She is still stuck on first right now, as the shadows slowly engulfing the right side of the diamond. And Dari Orm getting your Friday start here in Big 12 play. Ramos the chopper back to Orm. And Dari able to get out of the inning without number 3. So an inning and a half complete. Is the green and gold once again with a chance to strike first in the home half of the second coming up. Back on Big 12 now. Dueling diamonds here in Waco. Again, you see those purple ribbons worn by student athletes across the country, especially on the softball diamond, mourning the loss of JMU standout Lauren Burnett, and trying to continue to raise awareness with mental health and reaching out to your peers and talking to somebody. Of course, JMU coming off a magical run last year to Oklahoma City. Casey West trying to beat out the arm of the short stump, but ultimately Rancha is able to get it across the diamond in plenty of time.
Now batting, the third baseman, number 15, Sydney Collazos.
That'll give way to Sydney Collazos in the bottom third of this order. And again, Saya Swain had a couple of line drives at her in that first inning. You just didn't know if while she was sitting idly back in the dugout during a half inning, if things might get worse, any bruising or soreness, but appears to be good to go. Happy to see that. After Mackenzie Wilson was able to send one right back to the pitcher, either on the first or second pitch of the ball game. And Sydney Cuyazos, today your third baseman, also among those catchers in rotation for Glenn Moore. I think her glove hand feels a little differently between catching Orm and catching Binford.
Possibly. Especially the way, if you watch tomorrow, if Aaliyah Binford pitches that off-speed pitch, she throws that so often.
It's really a great contrast in the two pitchers that Glenn Moore is able to throw as his starters on Friday and Saturday often. 2-1, and a late swing from Cuyazos, still able to get a piece of it, finds it foul. Again, Swain came into today a 4.60 ERA, 6 wins, 4 losses in her 26 appearances, 16 starts. And Cuyazos will join less than elite company on individuals that Swain has struck out this year. She is no stranger to securing several Ks before the game is done. This is the first inning that she's managed to retire the first 2 hitters.
Did you see the movement on that ball? Cuyazos had a great swing on it, but it's like the ball just kept moving away.
So that gives way to Zadie LaValle. Freshman getting her 33rd start of the year. Just trying to get something going here with 2 outs. And Taylor Strain on deck out of the 9-hole. Again, we're a couple weeks away from the Big 12 championship in Oklahoma City. And of course, after that, the NCAA tournament. And when you talk about the NCAA tournament, RPI comes up. Baylor's RPI 56 right now in the nation. All 7 Big 12 softball programs are in the top 100. Both of these programs know they have some work to do in these final couple of weeks.
Big 12 tournament really comes in handy too. Can make or break you. You get one extra chance at some of these Big 12 teams to improve your record, improve your ranking. A lot of conferences have kind of gone away from that game.
Well, the Big 12 did for a while. I think most of us were thrilled to see it come back a few years ago. I know the folks in the Crimson and Cream were pretty pleased to have it come back, because there are some postseasons they don't have to leave a maybe 45-minute radius from their campus. And again, if you do well enough in the postseason, you will have already have sampled what it's like playing on that big stage before the national championship is held there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to play in the ASA Hall of Fame Stadium in Oklahoma City. I mean, it definitely is another level when you're playing at the end of May and the beginning of June as one of the top 8 teams in the country. But either way, it's still a fun and impressive place to play.
Baylor has experienced that exactly 6 times. I would argue they were probably headed back in 2020 based on the math that it seems like they go every 3 years. Unfortunately, there was no postseason in 2020. Full count with 2 outs to Zadie LaValle, and she'll be unable to extend this inning. It is a 3-up, 3-down defensive effort from Iowa State, including a strikeout from their starter in Saya Swain. So scoreless through 2 here in Waco. Cyclones back at the plate at the top of the 3rd. Already two complete here in Waco, a scoreless affair. Baylor with a couple of base hits, but no runs to show for it. In fact, back in the first inning, Iowa State stranded one runner in scoring position, Mikayla Ramos, while the Bears stranded both Emily Hott and Aaliyah Binford in scoring position. So at the moment, a shutout for both of our starting pitchers, going strong. Dari Orm back in the circle for her third inning of work. As Dari now will face the number 9 spot for the first time in this lineup. That's Angelita Fuentes. Fuentes, who had a great throw, and that might be the reason why we're still scoreless. Threw one down to second, called out. Video review confirmed the call. Now she'll try to make an impact with her bat.
Just a great throw. And if you can catch the speed of Dari Orm, he's trying to steal, and then you got to have incredible pop time.
First hit of the ball game for the Cyclones, who have had a couple of free passes so far. And it is the first time a leadoff batter has reached against Dari Orm and Baylor today.
Looks like Dari Orm just left it over a plate a little bit. Got the end of the bat, but just enough to get past two diving Baylor there.
Not just that, but that's 2 second basemen over there on the right side of the field.
Exactly.
They can cover some ground. Here's Carly Spellhog. Struck out to lead off this ball game in the top of the first. The run on first, Fuentes. Spellhog shows bunt, but he'll pull it back. Again, Carly, one of 2 Spellhogs on the team, along with sister Ellie. Carly signed with Iowa State out of Pleasant Valley High School, while her sister Ellie started her career at Bradley playing college basketball before transferring over to the softball diamond in Ames. And a chopper. Coyazos has to sit back, still has the arm to make the throw. Boy, that is not an easy play.
No, anytime you get that one, you have to wait for that ball to come back down. If you got a ton of speed, that can almost be an impossible play to make.
It does advance Fuentes into scoring position, second runner in scoring position today for Iowa State. But for the second time, the Bears keep Spellhog off the base paths. Here's Michaela Ramos. See if she can come through with a 49th RBI on the year. Ramos last year set the Iowa State program record with 57 runs batted in last year. Her 48 coming into tonight put her at 16th in the nation this season. Big reason for that is usually she has Carly Spellhog on the base paths in front of her. Right now she has Angelita Fuentes in scoring position. Ramos over her past 10 games has seen her average at a 308 clip. A really good run of form, including 4 doubles. And not chasing the 0-2 pitch out of the zone.
Just really goes to show you how important that 9-hole hitter is. You know, growing up, you think, oh, I'm batting 9th, I'm the worst. But it really sets up that leadoff, and I mean how impactful it can be later in the game as well.
Orm. And now just 1 out away from stranding a Cyclone on third, but at the same time, a wild pitch, a pass ball, and Angelita Fuentes is just 60 feet away from giving the Cyclones a lead. Fuentes, who led off this inning with the only hit today for Iowa State. A single. She's since been advanced a couple of times now on some ground downs. Here's your 3-hole hitter, Angelina Allen. Poked out towards left. Taylor Strain underneath it. Cyclones strand another base runner. That's now 3 left on base after 3 trips to the plate. As a result, that scoreline remains unfazed. Scoreless in Waco. Yep. His prime. Back on the diamond here in Waco, dueling diamonds here on campus. It is a busy day. In fact, Steve Rodriguez's men are hosting Texas Tech over there on the 90 by 90 diamond for a 3-day Big 12 affair. John Morris and Pat Combs on that. As you will understand if you have multiple screens up. Great to have you with us here at Getterman Stadium. As for Baylor, Taylor Strain back at the plate, and Taylor's another example of what you mentioned, how important the 9-hole hitter is in turning the lineup over. And if you do get on, you're not somebody who's a liability on the base paths in front of somebody like Mackenzie Wilson.
You're almost, I mean, you are the second leadoff. I mean, you're here in this position, you are in the leadoff position, but just how important you are to really, you know, make sure you get on base. So you have a good at bat. You kind of work this pitch a little bit and see if you can make an impact from this 9-hole.
Again, both of our starting pitchers going strong in this one. Just 2 base hits allowed by Iowa State so far. Cyclones picked up their first hit of the game last half inning. Oh-2 is foul, and that one got around the side netting. Fans are excited for a rare opportunity to battle for a foul ball.
Well, you get to trade it in, I think, for a squishy softball down there.
Oh-2 could not hold up the strikeout from Swain.
That off-speed pitch kind of just floated inside. Couldn't get a piece of it here.
That gives way to Mackenzie Wilson. And that is a foul ball, just snagged side of the bag, and right about now, Mackenzie Wilson was wishing it was a fair ball. She'd be standing on second, but not the case. She'll go back and pick up her bat. When we showed the replay of the strikeout, I wasn't sure if we were going to see the strikeout or the last time Wilson was up. I think Swain was happier to see the strikeout as the replay. Wilson singled to begin the ball game in the bottom half of the first inning. She'd be caught stealing. One pitch after she was caught stealing, Emily Hott had a walk. And by the end of the inning, Hott was left stranded on third base, leading us to believe that perhaps Wilson may have scored that inning. Had it not been for the fantastic throw from the catcher Fuentes.
You know, and you think you can play the what-if games. You're like, man, you know, if I don't steal her, then she might score. But at the same time, you want to play the numbers, and 24 out of 29 times she's made that steal.
A charge into that one off the top of the wall. She's going to try to get a double, and the ball spills loose, making it an easier decision. Boy, I think the biggest sigh of relief out there is from the umpire not having to decide out or safe, as Wilson put the pressure on everybody.
Absolutely. And man, what a hit. I think she was about 10 inches away from a home run right there. You know the speed of Mackenzie Wilson. Not often do you get to see the power of Mackenzie Wilson. It just goes to show you it doesn't take a whole lot of muscle, a whole lot of body. It takes a whole lot of fast hands. And she's got that.
So a couple things. There's a reason why we were debating who was the second fastest on the team, not who was the fastest, because Mackenzie has that on lockdown. The other one, I almost thought she hit the ball too hard because it hit off the wall and came back so quickly. I thought she might deny herself extra bases, but she was not going to be denied.
Well, and they definitely fielded that ball and got that in quick. I think if that doesn't pop out of the glove and roll away, she may be out again.
So Emily Hott, when she comes to the plate, she's going to have to draw some respect from the third baseman in Pond, which pulls her up off the bag, and you just wonder what kind of opportunity there will be for Wilson to possibly take third. Hott, after walking back in the first, shoots this one out to left. And unfortunately, with that ball in left, Wilson's not going to have a chance to advance 2 away. As Carly Spellhog easily able to get underneath that one and bring her momentum in. Wilson could only tease a move down to third.
You know, she definitely thought about it, probably once or twice.
Here's Aaliyah Binford. 2 outs, runner in scoring position. Binford singled back in the first, would be left stranded in scoring position in her own right. And a big cut. Aaliyah this year, 3 home runs to lead Baylor. 3 of her 16 extra base hits. Looking to that Baylor dugout as they are hoping Binford can bring Wilson home for their first lead.
Her last one just coming as of this last Tuesday against SFA. It's nice to see the wind not blowing and see a ball get out of here.
Binford fooled by Saya Swain there in the circle. Little dose of her own medicine.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think a lot of batters would suggest to Binford.
She's got the smile. She knows it.
And Swain is just 1 strike away from stranding another bear on the base paths. And she comes through with a strikeout for out number 3. So both teams have now stranded 3 base runners through 3 innings. A pitcher's duel brewing in Waco. Oh, great to be back at the Diamond for Big 12 play. I mentioned this is the penultimate weekend of Big 12 softball before folks head to Oklahoma City for the conference championship. And that was the last place these two met before this weekend, as Iowa State got the better of that exchange. Sammy Williams went out in style against Baylor, became the Big 12 all-time hits leader. The Cyclone came up with her 329th career hit against Baylor in that Oklahoma City game. That's despite Baylor twice intentionally walking her in that contest. It was a 3-1 final in favor of the Cyclones, and both teams were postseason bound. Lincoln Rose, Kelly Beck, top of the 4th. Neither starting pitcher has thrown a pitch today with a lead. Ari Wormwood welcome a cheap out. Not going to get one there. Collazos just runs out of real estate. Again, Iowa State has had one base runner each inning, a couple of walks and a single. Elijah Ochoa trying to reach base for the first time after she was the third out back in the first. The 0-1. So Iowa State no runs on one hit. Baylor no runs on 3 hits. Couple of Californians squaring off right here. Sky high to Binford at short. 1 away.
Those sky-high fly balls are, you can never take them easy.
Well, especially again with the aforementioned wind. Binford at least is not battling as much with the sun as she had been for the first few innings. Seemed like there was a cutout in the shadows that had the sun exclusively in her eyes. She may still have a setting sun a little bit to contend with.
Not quite as much as Taylor Strain out there in left field.
No, yeah, she has almost a monopoly. Alicia Ranchez grounded out to the right side, 0 for 1 today, back in the second inning. Big cut, but behind the count, 0-2. Mentioned Ranchez, the typical story of a Hawaiian going to start her college career over at Campbell University on the East Coast and then transferring to the Midwest.
Yeah, you just hear that all the time.
It's almost a cliche at this point. The 1-2 with 1 out from Orm. Got her. Gives way to Kaylee Pond. Dari Orm is looking for what would be her first 3-up, 3-down inning. Kaylee Pond obviously has a say in that. Depending on whom you ask, Baylor either leads the series 41-17 or 43-17, and a little surprisingly, it's Iowa State that gives them the 43 wins. 2 more than Baylor research department takes credit for. Mentioned they met 4 times last year. Each team took 2. Dari Orm today is facing a team that has 73 doubles on the year. That's 15th best in the nation. For the right side, and it is, for the first time today, a perfect half inning for this Baylor defense with Dari Orm in the circle. Will it also be the first time that Baylor strikes? Home half of the 4th up next. home half of the 4th inning, and there you see Josie Bauer out of the 4th spot. The DP today will lead things off here in the 4th, followed by Anna Watson and Casey West. They're combined 0 for 3 today against Saya Swain. And I think we are actually maybe reviewing something at the moment. Our home plate umpire says they're checking some headsets. Oh, I see. They were anticipating that we were going to be talking to the 2 head coaches. We will plan on doing that the rest of the weekend, but that will not be occurring here today.
That makes sense.
Appreciate our umpires looking out for us.
It is the 4th inning.
We need a different universal signal for coach interview than from video review.
Yeah.
I thought there was a chance we were going to go back to the previous half inning. So Josie Bauer again leading things off. Baylor has won 9 of its last 11 ball games, and Bauer is able to reach with a leadoff single. And she beats the throw from Ochoa to Allen.
Ball's down in the zone. She goes and gets it, and she hits that solid. Wonder if this will be the spark that Baylor needs to put one across the plate here.
Anna Watson pops up the bunt, and wow. So heads up by Bauer staying at first, but 2 Cyclones almost collide, and somehow that ball does not pop loose. That's when chaos would have ensued.
You know, and Angelita Allen kind of has to double check her glove because she thinks that ball does kind of pop out.
Well, for a 0-0 ball game, we've had some pretty interesting moments in this one.
We have.
Here's Casey West 0 for 1 today. Saw her lead off the 2nd inning. That was the one perfect inning so far from Saya Swain. Well, I mentioned Baylor has won 9 of its last 11, but it hasn't been easy. I think it's safe to say Bears pitching has helped carry them through at least the past 4 games, as the bats have kind of cooled off for Baylor, despite their 4 hits here today. Just trying to find a way to bring some of these runners home. It's a stretch that includes a couple of complete games from Dari Orm, including that 9-inning midweek matchup last week.
It really goes back to how important those transfers have been for Baylor. The arm of Dari Orm in the circle, and then you have just the offensive prowess of Mackenzie Wilson in center field.
The 1-1 from Swain. And despite some noise, is not going to get beyond the reach of Ranchez at shortstop. So a leadoff single from Josie Bauer, 2 batters later, 2 outs later, and Bauer is still standing on first. There's the aforementioned Bauer, your DP. Sydney Collazo's playing 3rd today. Will come up and try to extend this inning. Baylor does not have any hits this ball game with 2 outs. All 4 of their hits have come with 1 out or fewer. That includes the single this inning for Bauer. And Swain, who's pitched, pulled her away from that ball. Her second baseman, though, Simpson, still, after patiently waiting for the ball to come to her, enough on her arm, and we are scoreless after 4. welcome you back to Waco as we move on already to the top of the 5th inning. And Daria Orm probably felt like she had just sat down in the dugout when she was called to come back out for her half inning of work, as every time she pitches a gem, Saya Swain able to match it.
That just goes to 2 evenly matched teams, both needing wins at this point in the season, too.
I believe Glenn Moore has identified Iowa State, along with a couple of other programs in the Big 12, as, quote, twins with Baylor. Not necessarily in every aspect, but kind of similar experience the way their seasons have played out so far. As first pitch to Simpson, pushed over the right side. And that's going to help Daria Orm keep her pitch count at a reasonable number.
Well, if you flat look at numbers, too, it's very, I mean, close, similar records. Baylor's posted a few more wins than Iowa State has, but batting averages, the type of speed, the type of lineup that you provide, solid pitching in the circle, both of these teams are, I would consider twins, maybe fraternal twins.
Ramos down to the 8th spot. Well, while we mentioned the Cyclones saw a couple get away against Texas, they were able to take one against Oklahoma State. Baylor, if you talk about regrets, I know there was that Sunday game against Oklahoma, but I think Glenn Moore is more focused on some of those Sunday outings when they could have swept a couple of Big 12 weekends but settled for a 2-1 series.
Yeah, absolutely. Just about every weekend that has not been Oklahoma or Oklahoma State. Lost the Sunday matchup in Kansas, dropped the Sunday matchup against Texas Tech.
Yeah, those are the most recent Big 12 weekends for Baylor. Each time they won Friday and Saturday, so they knew they had the series, but they saw Sundays slip away on each occasion. The 1-1 from Orm to Ramos is tight.
You kind of look at the pitching too, how often you get to see, you know, we've seen the strong arm of Daria Orm on Friday nights usually, and then you see the mixing the speeds of the elusive Aaliyah Binford, who's done really well on Saturdays too, and you kind of have to see a mix of both of those on Sunday. And after seeing those both pitchers so many times, you kind of are in a defensive advantage here.
The board had that at 70 miles per hour, though not a strike.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And the 8-hitter Ramos facing Orm for a second time today, grounded out back in the second. And lays off a pair of pitches, one for a ball, the other one for a strike to make the count go full with 1-1. Angelita Fuentes on deck. She has the lone base hit so far for Iowa State. Fuentes does, a single back in the 3rd inning. Orm has walked 2, so 3 base runners today for Iowa State. Payoff pitch off the glove of Orm. Do they have time to recover? The answer is no. That'll be an infield single for Mikayla Ramos. That might be a situation where Orm is too athletic for her own good, as Binford probably could have secured that one.
It's just instinct too. You kind of like, oh, stick the glove out. You see Aaliyah Binford back there kind of like, oh, I was getting ready to dive for that one.
So second hit for the Cyclones comes with 1 out. Again, Fuentes, who had the only other hit 2 innings ago, comes up to the plate. Top of the order, just around the corner for the Cyclones. Will it be 2 on with 1 out, or the Bears just needing 1 out to get out of the inning when Carly Spellhog comes up? No 2 count now to Fuentes. So yeah, Jamie Pinkerton, obviously a lot of the recruiting budget, flights out to California. Fuentes from Seaside, California. This will hang up there in center for Wilson. Snow cones it. 2-1.
Well, and some of them are bonus when you look at like the siblings here, sisters that get to play.
They didn't show up at the same time.
Yeah.
But they did come a little bit closer from home in the backyard there. So here's Carly Spellhawk. First pitch she sees will put an end to the inning, and Dari Orm has figured out a way to keep Spellhawk off the base paths and keep the Cyclones from touching home. We are scoreless as Baylor picks up the bats for a 5th time. Bottom half of the 5th inning here at Getterman Stadium, already rearing its head as Baylor still with a chance to strike first. It's the 8-9 and top spot of the order due up for the green and gold. Zadie LaValle 0 for 1 today. Grounded out back in the 2nd inning. Your catcher for Dari Orm and Baylor here tonight. Both starting pitchers going strong. Saya Swain. Scary moment in that 1st inning. First batter she faced, Mackenzie Wilson, shot a line drive right back at her chest. Was able to shake it off. Had another line drive at her feet later, about an inning later. Was able to get out of the way of that one. Since then, pretty smooth sailing, scattering 4 Baylor hits and stranding all 4. She has walked 1. That was back in the 1st inning. .30 offering to Zadie LaValle, and that's a 4-pitch walk. 2nd time, or make it 3rd time today, Baylor has been able to get its leadoff hitter on. Last inning they did, and that leadoff batter never advanced off of first. They're going to run for Zadie LaValle here with Grace Powell.
Coach Moore recognized how important that run is, and Zadie LaValle doing a great job of making sure she gets on base and getting a base runner and kind of relinquishing that duty now to Grace Powell.
Grace Powell, the freshman out of Crawford High School in Crawford, Texas. I think it was a former U.S. president who put Crawford on the map as he was putting a chainsaw to various trees around those parts. Talking about George W. Bush.
I don't know how many chainsaws he's laid hands on.
Every time there's a news camera nearby, he seemed to have a chainsaw in his hand. As Saya Swain, this is how tight this ball game is. She's going to come out as her start comes to an end. She does not allow a run. Now she is responsible for the pinch runner Powell. And in her place for the Cyclones, they go to Ellie Spellhawk. I mentioned Ellie started her college career as a basketball player at Bradley before transferring to join her sister Carly, who's out in left. So both Spellhogs out there on the field, the latter Ellie comes in a tight situation, a scoreless ball game, a nice game from Saya Swain, and I think it's safe to say we will see Swain again this weekend. But a 4-pitch walk to the last batter she faced may have ultimately encouraged Jamie Pinkerton to make this change.
And I just think it goes back to how important that base runner is at this point. Bottom of the 5th inning, there's not much game left, and Baylor needs a run, and Iowa State needs to protect this run. A little chess match going back and forth here.
Cyclone head coach Jamie Pinkerton, 5th year at the helm of the program. He was an assistant on this staff for a few seasons earlier this past decade before he helped start the softball program at Montana. Would go on to be 2-time Big Sky Coach of the Year, also former head coach at Arkansas and Tulsa. But back in Ames, Iowa, where he has rejuvenated the offense, though obviously that's not on display for either team here tonight. We talked about some of the impressive numbers, some program records falling in terms of career hits and RBIs. Sammy Williams, who graduated last year, Ramos, who's still with the program. Right now it's Baylor looking to put up some offense. Strain at the plate and just reaches across, slaps at the 0-1 offering, so she's in a hole with the pinch runner Powell on first right now, nobody out. The 0-2 from Spellhawk. And Taylor Strain not helping her out that time. It's 2-2.
Just a bit out of the zone.
So top of the order. Coming up next with Mackenzie Wilson, who's 2 for 2 today. Will Baylor have a couple of base runners? Or can Spellhawk find it out here? That one fouled is not secured by the glove of Fuentes. So the at-bat continues for Strain. Zadie LaValle, a 4-pitch leadoff walk. 3rd straight inning. Baylor has been able to, pardon me, 3rd time today Baylor's had its leadoff hitter reach. Left side, that's a fair ball, and a heads-up play by Pond at 3rd, able to get the lead runner Powell out with the force.
That's such a tough play to make. That ball coming hard down the line at 3rd base, and then to go for the lead runner too.
Another look.
Just a one hop.
I mean, she's playing in front of 3rd, snags that ball. And whether it's fair or foul, you've got to make that throw and then let the umpire tell you otherwise. It was a fair ball, but she can't see second base when she's fielding that. But she's confident she can get a throw there in time and does. Cyclone still not in the clear, but now after the fielder's choice, it's Taylor Strain over there at first with Mackenzie Wilson at the plate. Mentioned Wilson today, 2 for 2. Single and a double. And she was ready to square around. Now I'd suggest not to give herself up for an out.
You know, but at this point in the game, Baylor needs a run. And so whether you give yourself up and you move that runner over, try and manufacture a run, or if you try and, sneaky bunt and get yourself on base as a single, both are successful in this situation. You definitely want the speed of Wilson on base, but.
That was a 3-0 pitch in there for the first strike to Wilson. And the base runner Strain at first now with 1 away. Second walk of the inning. And for the second time today, Baylor has multiple base runners. It's the first time since the first frame. The constant, Mackenzie Wilson, has come to the plate 3 times, and she's been able to run the bases 3 times. She's got Strain there ahead of her in scoring position. So here's Emily Hott, walked in the first, flied out in the third. Punches out towards left into foul territory, and, well, I think we saw Spellhog consider diving for that ball, and it may have been the smart decision not to. If she catches that ball, I think both runners advance.
Absolutely. I mean, you got speed of Taylor Strain and Mackenzie Wilson back behind.
I don't know that she really knew that she had a choice there, but ultimately decided not to leave her feet for that one. In the 0-1 to Hott with 2 Bears on the base paths. Right back to Spellhog. And again, they get the lead out, now 2 away. So Strain will head back to the dugout as out number 2. Hott will run after the fielder's choice with Wilson. Your potential go-ahead run in scoring position, but with 2 outs now. Here's Aaliyah Binford. Just the second time today, Baylor has brought a 5th batter to the plate. Cyclones have yet to do so. Again, that's how well both starting pitchers had fared today, along with the defense behind them. Even if one runner got on, it never would snowball out of control. Binford's never an easy third out.
When you look at just the lineup of Baylor players here, you have a true competitor in Binford, and you know, she might not have the numbers that Mackenzie Wilson does, but she's definitely somebody you want up in this situation right here.
The 1-1 from Spellhog. Binford looking for the gap, back towards the wall, but caught at the warning track by Ochoa. So Baylor, for just the second time today, gets multiple base runners, but in the end, the result the same. Zeros under the run column for both the Cyclones and Bears through 5. Friday night softball here in the Big 12 Conference on Big 12 Now. As Dari Orm is your last starting pitcher, still standing in the circle on behalf of the Baylor Bears, as she is throwing a 2-hitter right now against Iowa State. First of 3 meetings over the next 3 days between these two programs. As Saya Swain had a great start, but after a leadoff 4-pitch walk, exited the ball game. That runner would not come around to cost the Cyclones, who are now trying to strike first. Here in the top of the 6th, it's Mikayla Ramos. Ramos walked in the first inning, grounded back to the pitcher, Orm in the 3rd, so officially 0 for 1 today. 1-0 Only 4 runners left on base today for the Cyclones. Into shallow left. Just a home play, right? With Taylor Strain coming in on that one.
And you know, I know it's because of the communication, but you just can't help but giggle when they're just standing there and your left fielder comes all the way across. But that's, you know, she's talking out there and she's like, hey, I got this.
And she did, even if it was right on the palm of her glove before it's all said and done. Here's Angelina Allen, a ground out and a fly out today. Third time to see Orm. Right side and off the diving glove of Casey West. Oh, I thought we were going to be giving you a hashtag for a certain national highlight show.
Almost.
So did she.
Almost. There it is. Off the thumb of the glove.
We can edit that in post, right? Well, Angelina Allen is on. She will run on her own behalf as Malaysia Ochoa comes up 0 for 2 today, looking for her first chance to run the bases, possibly be a hero. Alicia Ranchez on deck. Again, that's just the 3rd hit today for the Cyclones. Both starting pitchers stingy. Plenty, though, still in that right arm of Daria Orm. You hear the pop in the glove of Zadie LaValle, who re-entered after they pinch ran for her.
Scoreboard gun there reads 44, but I'm tempted to believe that's the cars driving by and not the speed of that last pitch.
Is this a school zone? 1 on, 1 out for Iowa State here in the 6th inning. Out towards left, Strain. Had a little adventure with the last one that came her way. Gets underneath that one, 2 away. And she has recorded both outs this inning. Taylor, again, a local product from Robinson, Texas. 2nd-year freshman.
Yeah.
All right, Alicia Ranchez comes up. Still a chance for the Cyclones this inning to capitalize on the base runner Allen. Daria Orm might be a strike away from getting out of the 6th. Well, a great crowd tonight. Iowa State certainly well represented as well after a tremendous turnout for their midweek home matchup against Iowa. The 0-2 from Orm to Ranchez. And Ranchez on the delayed swing, able to punch it through for the base hit. There are 2 Cyclones on for the first time tonight. It comes here with 2 outs in the 6th inning.
Iowa State has just doubled their hits total for tonight.
Yep, 2 here in the 6th. And I think we have just witnessed our first 2-out base hit for either team tonight. Gives way to Kaylee Pond, who's already flashed some leather. Now back to swinging the bat. And she shoots that one behind her head coach, Jamie Pinkerton.
Not very often you get to see the 42 repping number 42. Especially in softball. Kind of matches Zadie LaValle's 99 behind the plate.
Yeah, I think especially 99 takes a special personality. Two on, two out for Iowa State in a scoreless affair here in the top of the 6th. Runner on second, Allen. Ranches the runner on first. The 1-2. Got her. Dari Orm still firing some heat here in Central Texas. Strands a pair of Cyclones. As the threat comes to an end, Baylor with another chance to strike first in the home half of the 6th inning here on Big 12 Now. Well, moving quickly on to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Boy, we just saw Iowa State produce the first 2-out base hit of the night, but still not clutch enough to yield the first run. As Josie Bowers continues as the DP, she 1 for 2, singled most recently back in the 4th. Each team has struggled to advance base runners. It's a little surprising with Baylor that they lead the Big 12 in sacrifice bunts this year with 22 of them. Just haven't had a lot of opportunities.
You would have thought for sure we would have saw one last inning. And I think Taylor Strain tried to. Zadie LaValle got that leadoff walk, and Taylor Strain attempted a bunt a few times, but couldn't get that down and couldn't get fair.
Bauer at the plate, leads the Big 12 in being hit by pitches 10 times already this year. Certain batters are just a magnet.
I know that well.
The 1-2. Again, despite a great start tonight for Iowa State, Saya Swain was pulled last inning after facing one batter in her place. It was Spellhog, Ellie Spellhog, in relief. First time she faces Josie Bauer. And the count full now with nobody out. Bauer trying to become the 4th bearer to lead off an inning by reaching base. In fact, 3 of Baylor's 4 hits have come from the leadoff hitter that inning. And I think that ball was able to bite the barrel of the bat as she tried to check her swing. So right now, both teams, no runs on 4 hits. Sanchez says she has it. She does. 1 away. You and I tried to do a deep dive into the mindset of a player who wears the number 99 on their back, but nobody wants to extend an inning long enough to really have a prolonged chat of that quality.
You know.
Both pitchers and defenses working quickly. Here's Anna Watson 0 for 2 today.
Some days they just fall like that.
Big cut from Anna. Iowa State's problem, if for some reason we're still scoreless in the top of the 7th, is when Baylor comes up in the 7th, Iowa State may not get another chance. Baylor wouldn't mind a walk-off to kick off this weekend. They'd probably prefer that Daria Orm actually get to throw some pitches with a lead before the night is over.
If that is the case, now is the time to do that.
As Watson not chasing there, 2-1. Again, the Spellhawk sisters from Bettendorf, Iowa. Pleasant Valley High. Spellhawks' career high has been 6 strikeouts 4 times this year. Comes on in relief here, as she did in the midweek matchup against Iowa. Already has 6 saves this year, which is tied for the 3rd most in a season for an Iowa State pitcher. She's hoping to leave tonight with a victory. Needs a little run support, probably not much. That's what Anna Watson is trying to provide Baylor. Payoff pitch pending and 1 out. It's tight, ball 4.
Well, walks tonight have definitely been the catalyst for each offensive team.
All right, so 1 out, runner on. Casey West comes up. She's 0 for 2 tonight. Almost had a highlight reel diving catch last inning. That base hit did not come back to haunt Baylor. Right back up the middle, it'll get through. And Watson is not going to test the arm of the center fielder Ramos. You've got 2 on with 1 out.
Yeah, just not enough of a jump for Anna Watson, and a very hard hit ball here by Casey West. That is about all she can get.
Coach Jamie Pinkerton is going to make his 2nd trip to the circle. We'll see if this is just to make sure everybody's on the same page in terms of what the priority here is, or if any actual personnel change will be made. Glenn Moore, along with his longtime staff of almost 2 decades, Brittany Newman and Hoot Johnigan, this season, each of them receiving honorary degrees from Baylor. Well deserved. I think most people already thought of them as bleeding green and gold. Of course, coaches Moore and Newman spent much of their early years on the other side of the Louisiana-Texas state border, where they played their respective collegiate careers out. Glenn Moore, a college football player at Northwestern State, on the offensive line with a certain Edward Orgeron. Brittany Sneed is pretty soon going to be inducted into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame over there in Natchitoches, Louisiana, which is actually where Glenn Moore went to college, again, Northwestern State. 1-0 gets through. Baylor will have a chance right here. Glenn Moore's going to send the runner home, and Baylor strikes first, but an out recorded as ultimately Casey West rounds 2nd a little too liberally. But Anna Watson comes home to give Baylor its first lead of the day. Sydney Collazo strikes. Your first candidate to perhaps be the hero on this Friday night.
And you know, you don't need a whole lot. You just need a simple ground ball up the middle. You got to find some green, and that's exactly the mindset Sydney Collazo comes in with. You can kind of see there at the end of that replay, the big turn at second base, and just couldn't get back. Leading to 2 outs now.
So Anna Watson scores after her 1-out walk. Collazo's with the RBI single, but now 2 away. Here is Zadie LaValle, who walked last inning, 0 for 1 today. It's gonna be harder to find that insurance run again after surrendering the out a moment ago. Slow roller right side, taking it herself. The first baseman Allen with the tag, and that'll do it. But one batter earlier, Sydney Collazo comes up, breaks an over, and breaks up a scoreless deadlock here in Waco. With Anna Watson coming home on the RBI single from Sydney Collazo in the bottom half of the 6th, that means the Iowa State Cyclones enter the top of the 7th on notice. They have to score at least 1 to keep this ball game going. Otherwise, Baylor with no obligation to pick up their bats until tomorrow. As Dari Orm back in the circle, looking for her 8th complete game on the year, looking for her 3rd shutout on the year. 3 outs away, and it's the bottom third of the order due up for Iowa State. First up, Casey Simpson, who has fouled out and grounded out so far. Lincoln Rose, Kelly Levesque. Baylor found 1. In the bottom of the 6th, they're hoping that's enough. Over towards right, Watson. Gets Baylor 1 out closer.
Gotta love that smile on Dari Orm's face.
I think she's telling Binford, you got to play shortstop the whole game.
Just relaxed and having fun out there.
Didn't need you to come into the circle today. Tomorrow will be your chance. Here's Mikayla Ramos, who got to run the bases in the 5th. 0 for 1 today, or pardon me, was 0 for 1 before that. Skyler, a senior out of Ventura, California. Went to I assume Buena High School. If you're on the East Coast, it'd be Buna High School, unfortunately. Binford squeezes it on the fly. 2 away.
Oh, and Ramos knows that too. Kind of see her jump there at the end, and she, I got all of that and just hit it right to her.
Aaliyah does not have fond memories of Iowa State and Oklahoma City last year. She had a home run pulled back into the ballpark last year in OKC in that loss to the Cyclones. Here's the 9-hitter, Angelita Fuentes. 1 for 2 today. Singled back in the third. She was left stranded on second base that inning. That was the second and final time the Cyclones have had a runner. Pardon me, second of 3 times the Cyclones had a runner in scoring position tonight. Count 1-1. If Iowa State can score at least 1 here with 2 outs, Baylor would come back with Strain, Wilson, and Hott, the 9, 1, and 2 hitters in their lineup. The 1-1 from Orm.
She got that one.
A fly out, a line out so far here in the 7th for the bats of Iowa State. With 2 outs and nobody on. Shot out towards center. Wilson underneath it. Ball game. Baylor finds the winning run in the bottom of the 6th off the bat of Sydney Collazos to score on a Watson, and that's your difference in Baylor taking game 1 of this 3-game series here in Waco.
We mentioned it, just 2 evenly matched teams, the Twins here of the Big 12, and whoever strikes first did and waited till the bottom of the 6th and they can do it, but Baylor comes ahead.
Baylor improves to 5-8 in Big 12. Cyclones fall to 2-11. They will be back at it tomorrow for game 2, as will we right here on Big 12 Now and ESPN Plus. A reminder, all games airing on ESPN Networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Final score, 1-0 Baylor over the Cyclones.